right, welcome back into another installment of the 94 podcast. I'm Brooke Edel, joined here with my co-host Jim Bushy. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing good. Just another year older, man. Just another day, man. How are you doing, Brooke?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm holding up. Thank you for asking. Yeah, let's talk about your birthday. Let's start on a positive note here. Your birthday was just, a couple days ago. How did you celebrate? Any exciting highlights on your birthday? And happy birthday here on the 94 podcast.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, it was fine. I took the day off of work. Megan and we went down to a craft show in Denmark, Wisconsin. I went out later that night. Friends came up. We went out. We had drinks. It was a fun night. We stayed till like midnight. We came home. Megan and I drove down to Brookfield near Milwaukee. The day after, we went to a card show, and then relaxed. I mean, it was a fun day, and yeah, I appreciate having the birthday stuff. Thanks.
Awesome, awesome. That's great to hear. But a lot of teams have been busy. I know just have you like you've been busy during this off season. The Minnesota Vikings did have a couple signings that we had to just take note of. Jamal Adams, that's a big signing for the secondary. I know Brian Flores is excited to get him back there and working with the defense. As training camp is opening up all around the league right now. The Bears just opened up yesterday. You said the Packers opened up just recently too. I'm sure the Detroit Lions, the Minnesota Vikings are just right around the corner on opening up. I think they're August 1st when they're opening up their training camp out in Egan, or what I like to call the new winter park. But yeah, exciting. And then also you signed BO, Brian O'Neill. That is a name that I was kind of concerned about. It's just like, we can't let this guy walk. He's probably the most stable offensive lineman that the Vikings have had in the last 5 years. So it's really good to see that Brian O'Neill got that extension. The Vikings are definitely looking for more consistency from that offensive line, because we've seen this offensive line have ups and downs, especially with injuries. Not having a fully healthy offensive line is a big difference. And we got to see that with the two teams that made it all the way to the Super Bowl. They had solid, intact offensive lines with the New England Patriots with their run game, and also with the Seattle Seahawks, and being able to really control a lot of the postseason action with their offensive line being able to be stronger than the attack of the defensive line.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it starts. Everyone says it always starts with the quarterback. It actually starts with the offensive line. Can they give the quarterback the time? Can they open up the lanes for the running back? So it's not surprising that it's we able to get help buff our offensive line to help out this coming up.
Absolutely, absolutely, and knowing that you took a center in the seventh round, the Vikings with Gavin Gerhardt out of Cincinnati. That they definitely want to make sure that they have somebody for the long term, especially with not knowing who's going to be the quarterback, because we'll talk about that later with these tight quarterback races all around the league, including Minnesota. You got Atlanta, you got Cleveland, and you also have Las Vegas. But before we get onto that topic, I wanted to just chat a little bit about, what do we really expect, first out of Kyler Murray? What do we also expect from J.J. McCarthy as well?
Well, I'm expecting a big race because if I'm JJ, this is oh crap. They actually have someone who can outplay me for the starting role. They have someone who just they brought in is going to. Uh, I mean, he's been in the league before. He's gonna outplay me. He's going to do everything good. So I'm expecting to see a good quarterback battle. And honestly, as much as I want to see JJ win it, I think it's going to be Murray for week 1 and 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Because with the 2026 NFL training camps that have kicked off around the league, and looking at the what the Vikings camp is looking like, what we're seeing is JJ McCarthy and Kyler Murray, and I think that's heating up that competition just to see who's going to get the lion's share of those snaps early on, because the first preseason game is right around the corner, August 15th against the New York Giants. What can we really see, especially knowing that you got the mini camps and a new GM? So like everything is being installed brand new right now. So it's like a clean slate for all these guys. And also, it's going to be really interesting to see how Justin Jefferson is able to sync up with one of these quarterbacks, because we know that is going to be the telltale sign is who is going to have the best chemistry with Justin Jefferson. That is the quarterback that's going to get the most playing time. We could just say that right now. That's a spoiler alert. Whoever has the best chemistry with Justin Jefferson, that's your QB1 for week 1.
It is. I think the problem with Kyler Murray. I mean, we look last year. He had trouble finding Marvin Harrison Jr. It was supposed to be a breakout year for him. He didn't find him. So that's one of my concerns about with Murray is, can he find Jefferson? Can he find Addison? Can he find the top receivers, or is he going to have to be running around the whole line to get more yards? And that's the one problem I'm scared about with Murray being a starter is, can he find them?
Right. And you know that right now you're getting him for a bargain. The Arizona Cardinals are paying him a ton of money right now, so you're getting a rental player essentially for this year. Like the Cardinals are like, it's on the Cardinals' dime that you're able to compete this season. So the Vikings need to take advantage of that. And it's going to be interesting to see who Kevin O'Connell calls first to be that number one, especially going into the preseason games. I think the preseason is going to be really intriguing to see how these players are able to really, take what is happening on the practice field and translate that into the actual game field. And Kevin O'Connell said Murray and McCarthy will rotate between the first and second teams during the early part of camp. The split might not be 50-50 on any given day. So if you do end up going to any of the training camp, it's not going to be 50-50 every single day. But Kevin O'Connell said that there will be an effort to keep the reps even over time. And continued with Kevin O'Connell, he said, I know we'll be thorough. I know both guys will feel like they've gotten an opportunity to compete. And also Kevin O'Connell said he has a rough idea of when he would like to arrive at a decision, and he will balance the desire to be comprehensive, leaving enough time for the eventual winner to take control of the offense before the season begins. I think that's good. You definitely want that heightened competition going into the training camp and kind of keep the juices going into the preparation for that first preseason game. But you do have week 1, September 13th at US Bank Stadium against the rival, the Green Bay Packers. Before we even get there, let's just talk about the NFC North, because you said that you were at Green Bay's training camp. Tell me a little bit about what you saw in Green Bay.
Before we get to that, I just have to bring this up. We all know how Kyler Murray's a big gamer.
Yes, he's a big gamer.
Oh, dude, coming out. Do you think his play is going to be impacted by GTA 6 when it comes out?
Oh my goodness. If that is the case, Jim, I think it's a wrap. It's a wrap already. I think JJ McCarthy is your quarterback for the rest of the season. If he can't stay focused on the task at hand, I think JJ McCarthy deserves to be QB1.
Yes.
Kyler Murray right now, you can't have any excuses. You're playing for your football life essentially, because no one's going to trust you if you can't beat out a guy that's only had 10 starts. But at the same time, I think it's not fair for JJ McCarthy to be written off after only 10 starts. So as a Vikings fan, I'm just trying to be objective right now and just take it as, hey, a grain of salt with every single rep, every single preseason game, up until week 1 where the records are going to count. Like
Yes.
I'm waiting for that breakout game. I know he had a couple flashes. I know against Dallas, against Chicago week 1 in the fourth quarter where he made that comeback. Detroit, going on the road and beating a quality divisional rival. Green Bay, we still got to figure out a way to beat Green Bay. I know at the end of the season he got knocked out. He does get credit for that win, but again, you got to stay available. So that's another thing too with JJ McCarthy is being able to stay on the field. Kyler Murray has also had that knock too of missing time or not being able to shake that injury bug.
Yeah.
So to keep that in mind, I think Nolan Teasley said that the position. He said he'll be in position to provide a different vantage point. But ultimately, he said that he wants to give the coaching staff every single opportunity to really, give them that freedom to make that choice. And I like that. I like that from a GM to say, hey, I'm not going to put my hand in the pot that Kevin O'Connell has been working on and trying to perfect, because that's his job and he's going to stick to his job. So it is a lot. We'll talk more about the quarterback battles, but I want to get your take on the ground about the Green Bay Packers. Give me the juice. Give me the juice.
I had to bring up that because, well, Kyler Murray, Call of Duty, GTA 6, I mean, big year, big releases. I had to bring that up. But, no,
Right.
it was fun. I mean, I wasn't there that long. I went there, and I got there an hour before practice started. Because I don't know if you know this, Brooke, but every training camp, every day, kids will line up and Packers players will ride the bikes and walk with players. So that was cool. If you ever get a chance to come to Green Bay during training camp, watch it. It's fun, and it was day one. People shaking off the rust. I mean, Jordan Love looked good throwing the football. Watson, Golden, they looked good catching. I was down in the zone where the offense was. I didn't really get a chance to see the defense, but it was a good time. And again, I didn't stay too long. It was really hot outside, so I didn't want to stay too long. But it was a fun time.
Okay. So you stuck around a little bit, got to see a drill or two.
Yeah,
Did you get to see Matthew Golden? Because I know Matthew Golden, for a lot of Packer fans, they want to see more of him in the offense.
yeah. I saw he was on my end of the field, so yeah, I was able to see him. You can't go off. You can't really go off training camp. It's first of all, it's day one. People are just coming back. They're gonna start getting their reps in. Talk to me when he plays the first preseason game, and then that can give you more information about it. Because if we're just going on about training camp, and who knows, there's still plenty of time from now till game one.
Absolutely, yeah. You still got to get through the rest of August. Make sure that you stay healthy. That's going to be a key factor to make sure that you're able to start with the strongest 53-man roster possible going into the season. But yeah, that's just a quick scoop on the Packers. I'm sure Jordan Love, a lot of pressure, especially knowing that the Chicago Bears, which we'll talk about in that 10-year look back in the NFC North. We did start with the Detroit Lions, but now we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears, a 10-year look back. The Chicago Bears, the biggest rival for the Green Bay Packers. Most Packer fans would say. I know a lot of Vikings fans would want to argue, no, we're the biggest rival, but you're in Green Bay. You would agree the Chicago Bears probably the biggest rival.
100%.
Yeah.
Bears still suck.
So you've adopted that. I mean, that is a calling card in Green Bay. You
Even
hear
if
it
I was in
everywhere.
Green Bay, the Bears still suck. I mean, as a Vikings fan, the Bears still suck.
I hear you. I hear it. So the Chicago Bears did suck in 2016. They were 10-year look back. They finished 3-13. Their head coach was John Fox. Their quarterback at the time was Jay Cutler, and they had Jordan Howard as their emerging rookie running back at the time. And they had a rough season. I mean, the first season with John Fox, and then you followed up with the second season, and it was just a disaster in 2016. Ben Johnson is going into his second year with the Chicago Bears, and he's looking to avoid a disastrous season after one of the the biggest NFL stories last season with the resurgence of the Chicago Bears getting to the playoffs, winning a wild card game against their rival, the Green Bay Packers, advancing to the divisional round, hosting the divisional round against the LA Rams, and it goes to overtime on a miracle Caleb Williams, like straight out of Madden play, where he just runs back like almost 35 plus yards and zings it into the end zone for a touchdown, sends it to overtime. You end up losing in overtime on a walk-off kick to send the LA Rams to the NFC Championship game. But now the Chicago Bears, they get an opportunity in the second season with Ben Johnson and also Caleb Williams together as a unit. And then you get that running game with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. I think that's going to be huge because a couple things that came out from the Bears training camp, because they just started training camp just yesterday. Jalen Johnson's looking good, Luther Burden's looking good, and a lot of Vikings fans will remember this name, Garrett Bradbury. He also was somebody that was a standout in their training camp. So the Chicago Bears, they start the season week 1 on the road against Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. And then they get their home opener. They get their revenge game. Last season they had their home opener against the Minnesota Vikings. They get the Vikings again for the home opener. This might be one to check out in person because Soldier Field, we don't know if they're going to be in Chicago anymore, Jim. This might be one of the final games in Chicago.
I mean, I'd definitely like to see the Chicago Bears before they become the Hammond Bears. And see the stadium. I mean, it's Soldier Field. It's one of the fields like you have to go see. It's not like it's, I don't know, Miami Hard Rock. It's Hard Rock Stadium. Like you could go there for watch a college football game. Soldier Field, with the history of it, the history of the team in there. I mean, you have to see that before they eventually close it.
Right. Yeah. It is one of like the oldest like stadiums that are still standing. It definitely needs a facelift, and the Bears are definitely making a lot of noise during the offseason and even towards the end of the season. They were definitely making every move to get a stadium. Like they made it clear like that they don't want to just stay status quo in Soldier Field because they want to host an actual Super Bowl. And Chicago being the third largest metro in the U.S., it's kind of crazy that that Chicago hasn't had a Super Bowl like hosted. So I think they're definitely leaning towards like an indoor stadium. I'm not the biggest fan of that because I think it's kind of cool to have like Chicago, Green Bay as the outdoor like rivals, and then you have the indoor rivals with Detroit and Minnesota.
You know what I'm going to say here. Football needs to be played outdoors without a dome in the weather. It's built for it. Fans love it. I think the NFL needs to think about this. Yeah, you want to go somewhere warm for your biggest game ever. I want to see teams with history. Lambeau, Soldier Field, Foxborough. All the places that have history are in cold weather markets. I want to see a game there. Now, to be fair, Lambeau will be tough. Soldier Field. By the way, I gotta take you on a tour of Lambeau. You'll understand why I say that. Oh, that was a fun time. But football needs to be played outside in the elements. It's just made for it. It's not basketball where you have people sitting down most of the time. You only have certain people. It's not ice hockey. I mean, ice hockey can also be played outside. But nevertheless, Baseball, forget about it. Football is a game that should be played out in the elements no matter what.
I definitely can understand it from that perspective. I can also see it from the perspective like you want to host and actually, get Super Bowls in that circulation, be in that rotation. But again, Chicago's just been more of a staple for me as just being an outdoor. I've known it all my life as just being an outdoor team. I can't really vision it as an indoor team because Chicago, it's a tough guy town. It's a tough guy city. And I think
Yeah.
Chicago, black and blue, the identity is just being outdoors and dealing with the elements. Like they had the fog bowl, they've had, the windy city, wind, like impacted the game, the snow, and obviously
You
you
have the
just
frozen
have so
tundra
many
here in
other
Lambeau.
elements.
You have the frozen tundra in Lambeau. Did you see the new stadium for the Chiefs?
I didn't like. I know it's going to be indoor, correct? The one
Yeah.
in in the one in Kansas, yeah. Because
It has
again,
a curved down dome, like
it's a
curved
curve
down.
down. Okay, so
It's
it's
just
like
like
concave. Okay.
I, as much as I don't like the Chiefs, I liked Arrowhead how it looked. I think that was perfect. I understand they need a new stadium, but football needs to be played outside. I
Right.
will put that on a T-shirt and sell it. I will back it up. I'll buy 20 of them right now.
Okay. Okay. Give me good ideas there. Good ideas there. Okay. Okay. All right. But the Chicago Bears, they get their first crack at live action and actually, playing a game August 15th against the Cleveland Browns. I know the Cleveland Browns made huge, a huge splash trading Myles Garrett. Now they get Jared Verse, so that'll be the first time you get to see Jared Verse in a Cleveland Browns uniform in an actual game. That'll be at Soldier Field, and as we mentioned, the kickoff week 1 against Carolina. What do you expect from the Chicago Bears before we move on to the quarterback races?
It's simple. I'm expecting the Bears to improve on last year. I think since they've now tasted playoff success. They've now said, okay, we have a coach, we have a quarterback, we have receivers, we have defend end, we have people who can play defense, we can play people who can play offense. They're going to build on that, and I think they're the new Detroit Lions. The past couple, they've been Lions. They stink. Playoffs. Oh my God, their playoffs are going to do, and then they're going to drop off. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see them dropping too much, especially with Ben Johnson being in his second year. I think that culture is going to be more bought in that second year than it was in the initial year. And also establishing that run game is going to be huge. We mentioned DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai behind that offensive line with Garrett Bradbury coming from the New England Patriots, having that Super Bowl experience. That's going to be huge. I know they've just had really good luck. I think they had Joe Tooney. I think they came over from the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's had Super Bowl cred. He has ring cred, both with the Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. You can't downplay that, knowing that he's going to be in the trenches and really helping the Chicago Bears really move that ball. Yeah, I have the Bears in that same situation of either they're going to improve, being able to compete, and really, giving a lot of these teams issues. Because I know the Bears are going to be right there in that competition with the LA Rams, the Green Bay Packers, the Seattle Seahawks as like the top tier teams in the NFC. Just to start off with, like early in the season. But yeah, I have them either winning the division or being one of those top wild cards right now, just because what I've seen so far, they haven't really changed too much, and they've been able to plug the holes. They had their center retire, so they had to replace that. They made sure to take care of that in the offseason. Yeah, this will be definitely interesting to watch this Chicago Bears team. Now let's shift to the quarterback races because That's the most important position in the game. Let's take a look at the quarterback races around the league. Let's start with the first team that we have here, and that is the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons, you got Michael Penix Jr. and Tua Tagovailoa. Penix was the 8th pick in 2024. And then also you had, a change of the guard. You had another GM and another head coach. Now you have Matt Ryan, and then now you also have Kevin Stefanski installed as the head coach. This is going to be interesting because I think seeing Kevin Stefanski deal with a young quarterback last year with Shedeur Sanders, it'll be interesting to see how he translates with working with Michael Penix Jr. and a veteran in Tua Tagovailoa. Who's going to get the start? Because Penix took over for a struggling Kirk Cousins in his rookie season. Again, how short of a leash is it going to be for either one of these guys? Because it seems like Kevin Stefanski is not going to be shy about, switching who's going to be the QB1.
I'm still a Penix. I thoroughly believe Tua, if one game he gets hit really bad, he's done for the rest of the season. I think that they're not in Miami anymore, they don't need Tua to be out there every time. So Tua takes a year to recover from concussions, try to build himself back up, and then if Penix starts to struggle, you throw Tua in. I mean, I just don't want to see the guy get hurt. I think he needs to take a year as a backup and stay the backup and only come in when needed.
This is going to be interesting. I'm going the opposite. I'm going with Tua Tagovailoa just because of the track record of Kevin Stefanski going with the veteran in a lot of cases. He had Joe Flacco start last season. I believe that it's going to be Tua Tagovailoa to start the season with knowing that they got Bijan Robinson. So you're going to be really relying a lot on the running game early. And you also have Drake London. I like the fact that Tua is way more accurate than Michael Penix Jr. So I think that's the edge that I would give Tua, is that if he can stay accurate and healthy, I know it's hard for him to do both. He can stay accurate, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy. But I'm going Tua Tagovailoa there. The second race that we're monitoring here, just so for the sake of time, the Cleveland Browns and we got Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. Real quick, Jim, who do you have winning this quarterback race?
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel's still there. You're right.
Give me Shedeur Sanders. Deshaun Watson hasn't played football in how many years now? I've never liked that pickup. They should have kept Baker Mayfield, but they didn't. It is what it is. Give me Shedeur or Gabriel. I cannot see Watson winning it.
Okay. Yeah, Shedeur Sanders. This is tough because you get Todd Monken coming over from the Baltimore Ravens. Shedeur Sanders didn't really display his athleticism early on because I think that might help him. And I feel like if Shedeur Sanders is able to really break out of his shell and, break containment a little bit, I think that's going to help open up the offense. Until I see that, I think it's Deshaun Watson's job to lose because of the money. I'm just following the money here. It's the money that's making me feel that Deshaun Watson is going to be the starter. And again, Dylan Gabriel, I'm glad that you mentioned him. He's a third-round pick. They still have more invested in Dylan Gabriel than they do Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders obviously being a fifth-round pick, day 3. But now that you traded Joe Flacco out, I thought that was a prime opportunity for the Cleveland Browns to at least get rid of Deshaun Watson. But I guess they didn't want to swallow the pill and say that they were wrong. And, hey, the same owners of the Cleveland Browns are the owners of the Milwaukee Bucks. They made a big trade. And I think it might be time to part ways with just Deshaun Watson. So that's why I think he will be the starter. And if Deshaun Watson starts hot, I think Deshaun Watson might be a trade candidate. They might move on from him.
Who's going to take Deshaun Watson in his contract and his history? you really think people are going to you're going to have to give up a lot more than just Deshaun Watson. Like, you might have to give up a first round pick with him for the next few years just to dump the salary.
Right, just to dump the salary, you might have to eat part of the salary, just like how Arizona ate part of the salary, just to part ways and just start fresh. And I think that's something that Cleveland desperately needs to do, especially with two young quarterbacks. You have to figure this out sooner than later. All right, moving on to the next team that we want to take a look at, and that would be the Las Vegas Raiders. They have Kirk Cousins, Fernando Mendoza, and again, Aiden O'Connell. Jim, real quick, who do you see? Who do you envision Week 1 as a starter?
Oh, it's simple. If we're going through trends of the NFL, it's going to be Fernando Hernandez.
Mendoza.
Everyone knows it.
Yep.
Look at the past year. You had Cam Ward. He was a starter no matter what. Who was the quarterback first overall pick the year before that? Was it Drake? No.
That was Caleb Williams.
Williams started right away.
Yeah.
Quarterback for him, I forget who, started right away. It's going to be Mendoza. And if Mendoza starts to flounder, they're going to throw in Kirk.
Okay, so you're in the camp of start the rookie, game
No,
1, Week 1, get him
really.
a full start on the season.
Well, not really, but that's how. If I'm just looking at trends, that's just what it is. Everyone starts the number 1 overall pick. If it had it my way, I start Cousins, but I know it's going to be Fernando Hernandez.
Okay, I think the Raiders don't go with trends. I think they're going to bunk the trend. I think Kirk Cousins, just so you can get your offensive line in sync before. But again, I know you have to sell tickets. And with Tom Brady, I think they really want to protect Mendoza. They don't want to have him turn into a David Carr, where he has quarterback shaken syndrome, where he's just going to get ragdolled behind this like offensive line that hasn't really set up that chemistry where you can have, that full confidence that your number 1 pick is not going to be a wasted number 1 pick. I'm going Kirk Cousins. I hope I'm wrong just for the entertainment value, because I'd rather see Fernando Mendoza be the Week 1 starter. But I have Kirk Cousins as the Week 1 starter, and eventually Kirk Cousins will give way. Just like he gave way to Michael Penix Jr., I think that's what's going to happen.
Did he give way to Michael Penix Jr., or was he just told, here's your money, get out?
He struggled. Kirk Cousins struggled. He did struggle, though. You have to acknowledge he did struggle for him to lose that job.
Yeah, if I was Las Vegas, I would find a way to redshirt Mendoza for the year, just so they could build that offensive line one more time.
Right.
Before trotting him out there.
I'm just looking at it as like, hey, like, yes, like I want Mendoza to be the starter. I hope I'm wrong on this prediction, but I think Mendoza, like, he would definitely be served well just to get that opportunity to see Kirk Cousins. Maybe in the preseason, it might be decided. Like, if Kirk Cousins struggles in the preseason, then it's Mendoza's job, Yeah. But if Kirk Cousins is able to have at least a little bit more of a grasp on the offense and also get that running game going with Ashton Genty, I think, and then also you have Brock Bowers. You have one of the elite tight end options in the NFL. And I think knowing that Kirk Cousins also has experience working with Jalen Nailor, who is just, he just got signed from the Minnesota Vikings, and having that chemistry, we'll see. We'll see exactly how the Raiders kind of monitor this going into their training camp and then also preseason. But, okay, we talked about the Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be we saved the best for the last. Minnesota Vikings quarterback race, J.J. McCarthy, Kyler Murray. What's our early take on it? What's our prediction week 1?
Murray starts, GTA 6 come out, JJ comes in. Simple and easy.
J.J. McCarthy if GTA comes out.
When GTA comes
Kyler
out.
Murray if no GTA comes out. Okay,
Yes.
That's your take. I'm going Kyler Murray because I feel like a guy with 10 starts compared to what the experience of Kyler Murray, I have to go Kyler Murray. because I think that the Vikings are going to be almost in a deja vu moment if Kyler Murray has a successful season like a Sam Darnold. I think you're back to that decision again. Are you
Yeah.
gonna hit your wagon to that free agent quarterback that took you to the promised land, got you to the playoffs? But again, I think it is essential for the Vikings to win a playoff game because I think Kevin O'Connell is definitely going to get some looks sideways if he's not able to win a playoff game. If you make it to the playoffs, the Vikings are on the hot seat. You have to win a playoff game. But I'm going Kyler Murray week 1 against the Green Bay Packers. That's my prediction. Real quick, let's talk about some notes. Big news in the NBA. LeBron James goes to Philadelphia. No Golden State, no Cleveland, no Miami, no Minnesota. Minnesota can take grace in saying that they were in the top 5, but Philadelphia, they made the right moves. They got Jaylen Brown. They got Joel Embiid coming back. They got Tyrese Maxey. They got VJ Edgecombe, who they just drafted last season, and now you have LeBron James. That's their starting 5. Philadelphia is a sneaky play to be considered in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I know New York Knicks fans are disturbed to see LeBron James in the Eastern Conference again.
Well, was Philadelphia even in the consideration for?
They were kind of flyover country, Jim. Like no one was really considering like Philadelphia. But what's interesting is Mike Gansey, who is from Cleveland, like played high school basketball. That's how long LeBron James has been in the NBA. Like GMs, they're getting their job in the NBA are now trading for their high school counterparts in LeBron James. So that's how long LeBron's longevity is. And it's kind of interesting knowing that he's got that tie with the GM and also knowing that Bob Meyer, who orchestrated a lot of those championship teams in Golden State, is a big reason why I feel LeBron was like, hey, this team is going to be ready to win a championship. We'll see. The NBA season is going to be interesting once it starts back up in the fall. But I know New York, they are really annoyed knowing that LeBron has chosen Philadelphia, another rival.
I mean, yeah, I'm not surprised. But at the end of here's the thing: I don't think he brings them to the championship level. I think he brings them to the playoff level, and I think they go past round. They make it to the final. But you have Pacers are going to be good. They're going to have
Tyrese
Halliburton back.
Halliburton back. Yep.
They're going to be improving. You got Jason Tatum coming back for the Boston Celtics. He's going to be good. Next, they're going to try to repeat as champions. You got the Heat with Giannis and look at the crew down there.
You got Cleveland.
Cleveland, who's played
with
well.
Donovan
Detroit,
Mitchell and James Harden, right?
Detroit, they won the East
Detroit.
last year.
Yeah, they were the top team in the East. Yep.
You have Atlanta's coming, starting to turn things around, make it run. Charlotte's making the playoffs now.
Right.
Yeah, he brings effort. I just don't think he. I think he gets into the championship. I don't think they win it.
That's fair. That's fair. I think it gives Philadelphia a little bit more of that punch that people were not expecting going into the season. That's it. Like I feel like you just gain that experience, that know-how that LeBron is like one of the highest basketball IQs that has ever laced it up. So you have to acknowledge that. But it's just going to be more exciting. They're just going to sell more tickets. That's the big result here. It's like they're going to be a team to definitely pay attention to all season because they're just going to be in the conversation. They're going to be in the conversation all season. Let's also talk about Max Celebrini celebrating the highest paid NHL player with $18.8 million per year.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna have an old man rant here, and this is just for the whole entire league. All these kids are coming to the damn league. They're entry level contract, and then they don't get that bridge gap. They get straight to their multi-million-dollar, multi-year deal, and like Some of these kids don't even perform right away, and you're giving them multi-million dollars. My God, they don't even have to prove themselves; they're guaranteed it. It's just crazy how first overalls do. But I digress.
I got you.
Pellegrini, he was very hot. He's a great prospect for San Jose. He missed a couple shots in the Olympics for Team Canada. I'd love to see that. He's gonna be one of the good players for them. Locking him up now, while the caps go up, it's just gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's good for them. They're gonna make moves, and I think give them 2 to 3 years, they're back in the playoffs.
Right. I think San Jose just on the cusp right there. Just a lot of young talent. They play very tough, but they just haven't figured out the culture of winning just yet. But they're right on the cusp. Just like Chicago. Chicago, it's showtime once again with the Chicago Blackhawks. Franchise legend Patrick Kane is returning to the Blackhawks by way of a 2-year, $8 million deal. So similar to LeBron, they both signed 2-year, $8 million. Like, you get that name recognition. It's the old guard that meets the new, and you get Connor Bedard, as we mentioned before we jumped on here the podcast. He'll probably be available halfway through the year, maybe February, March. So it won't be until then when we get to see both of them on the ice together. But again, that's going to make the Central Division very intriguing. And knowing that you got Chicago, you got Colorado, you got Dallas, and you also got St. Louis. All those teams have won cups. The rest of the division, no cups. It'll be interesting to see how Minnesota deals with Quinn Hughes, possibly get the American hero Jack Hughes from the New Jersey Devils to come to Minnesota, because I know Billy Guerin needs to make that happen, because that's what's happening right now. I feel like a lot of these brothers are teaming up, and we're seeing that in Florida as well. With the Kachucks, yeah.
Yeah, Kachuk's. That was wild. That team is just not only will be dangerous to play on the ice, but they're going to be so physical. If you mess with one brother, you're going to get. It's the Bash brothers from the Mighty Ducks.
Exactly.
What else is there? They're the
Right.
Bash brothers.
They want all the smoke, Jim. They want all the smoke.
Yeah.
And let's close here. The Minnesota Lynx on an 8-game winning streak. They were able to get their groove on and get a little electric slide. I think all their WNBA competition is going to get sick of the electric slide by the end of the season, because that's their victory dance. They were able to get past the Toronto Tempo. They play the Tempo once more this week, and then they have a showdown with none other Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever this Sunday. I can't wait. It's going to be noon, high noon. Here we go.
That's going to be a fun game to watch. I mean, you have Lynx. Didn't they win the division last year or conference?
No, they ended up with the number 2 pick. They got Olivia Miles, Rookie of the Year, potential MVP as well. And then they also got their best player back recently, and she just had her first home game, Nafisha Collier. So the Lynx are getting good right after the All-Star break with injuries. So they are the favorites going into the second half. You also got the Las Vegas Aces, and then also their rival, the New York Liberty, that are going to be in the mix. We just know them. And then also the Connecticut Sun have actually been the last team to beat the Minnesota Lynx. So there's going to be teams that are going to be out there, but I think the Minnesota Lynx, if they can piece things together, they could definitely they could be going for that ring, one for the thumb, to make it 5.
Listen, they just got to beat Caitlin Clark. I mean, you were taking on the current, one of the current best players in the sport. I mean, that game is going to draw a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if tickets were like $100 right now.
Yeah, they're close to like $80. $80 is like the cheapest that you're gonna get for Sunday's game against the Indiana Fever, because you have the draw of the Lynx just being the top team, the WNBA, and you also have the draw of a superstar in Caitlin Clark.
Yep.
So it's nice to see that the All-Star game too broke a record. This is the first time that they actually outdrew the NBA All-Star game that happened back in February at the Intuit Dome, the Clippers' new stadium. They only had like 15,000 plus. The United Center, which is known for having the largest capacity in the NBA, they drew 19,000 fans for the WNBA. So I love to see that the WNBA game is growing, and even the Lynx in the last game that they had at Target Center, they drew 12,000. That's a lot of people, and I really like to see that momentum continue.
Yeah, I was saying it's great to see this organization keeps growing. Hopefully, they can continue to grow to a point where they don't have to be like they can be financially stable by themselves and not lose money and not have to have the NBA help them out as much. I mean, still help them out because you're still building it, but it's good to see the direction it's going, and hopefully it can continue to go up and up and up.
Absolutely. You got stars like Caitlin Clark dropping 45 points. You got stars like Olivia Miles, who's just continuing to bud as a superstar. And obviously, you got Neficia Collier, who is just a household name for the Minnesota Lynx, and Kayla McBride. Some just great basketball. Courtney Williams as well. But really excited to see what Cheryl Reeve is able to do with the Minnesota Lynx down the line. But definitely want to wrap up here on the 94 podcast. And Jim, just wanted to dedicate this 94 podcast to my father. And yeah, to anybody that's out there on the 94 podcast, thank you for anybody that's reached out. It's been a tough couple weeks for my household. We lost our dear father. And yeah, thank you for all the thoughts and prayers. Really appreciate that from the community. But yeah, I want to dedicate this to you, Dad. I love you, and we will once be reunited. Until next time, we'll see you at the TOP, and we're out.